when I look at this team, I do think it's a division champion. I think a lot of things have to go right, but I think a lot of things have to go right for the Rams. I think a lot of things have to go right for Seattle. I have no problem with Brock Heward or anybody who's on the, hey, Seattle can win this division. I got no problem with it at all. Arizona to win the division feels a little crazier. Not crazy is not the right word, but just feels like a longer shot to me. But if you want to make a case for the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks, no issue. I just think with any one of the three, you got to acknowledge things need to go right. And that applies to the 49ers too. The reason ultimately I pick them to win the NFC West is that I think the top end of their talent is just so significant, right? When you line up in any given Sunday, who are the 10 best players in this game? They should have at least 6. They should have half of them, minimum. They shouldn't have less than half of them. You should be evenly matched at minimum, at worst, if not better. And then on top of that, I know you see the article in The Athletic the other day. Best defensive coordinators name their best play callers. Kyle Shanahan #1. So I think that is I think that's enough. I think that's enough. Guy, what about injuries? Well, those could be very detrimental. That could keep them from winning the division. What about Brock Purdy not being as good enough? That's not a concern for me. Brock Purdy being good enough to win this division is not a concern for me. Good enough to win a Super Bowl, that's a different conversation. Got to go do that. But good enough to win the division, there is no doubt. Good enough to win a couple playoff games, no doubt. Is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? I've been saying for a couple of years, I think he is because he almost did it. Now, is he going to be good enough in this year to win the Super Bowl in this year? I don't know. We'll see. I'm optimistic about it. I think it's a great test week 1 against the Seattle defense, Mike McDonald, the Ravens defense, all that stuff. I also think the other big picture, like 50,000 foot, what is this? Are they going to turn into the team that it looked like they were starting to turn into last year that throws the ball more than historically the Shanahan offense does? In 2022, the Niners threw the ball 51% of the time. That was 26th in the league. In 2023, they threw the ball 52% of the time. That was 30th in the league. Now, ranks and percentages are, you can be ranked 30th and 26th, and that's 52% pass, 51% pass. Last year, they were 55% pass. That was middle of the pack. That was like 16th in the league. And you think, well, it's not a big difference between 55 and 53, but I think for them, that is a big difference. Are they going to be 56, 57, or are they going to be 53, 52? I still think they can be 53, 52, which is, I think, the sweet spot. Like, that's a good place for them to be because you just put you are helping. To me, it's about helping your offensive line. It's not about helping Brock. It's about helping your offensive line. So I'd love to see that number come back down. Just whatever 3% means. I just don't want them to get too pass happy. I don't think it benefits them. And I think with Christian healthy, you can be that team that runs the rock, provided you stop the ball on the ground. And that's the other part of this week that's interesting. It's not just Brock and Mike McDonald's defense. The 49 PFF has this stat. The 49ers last year, I'm going to bring Connor in after this to react to this, and I'll get some other specific takes in. Were 32nd in the NFL when they faced outside zone runs. Okay, you ready for this? Against outside zone, they were 32nd in the league in yards before contact. So the amount of yards the running back gained before somebody touched him running their offense. So this week, let's put it to the test. Immediate dividends, will they be paid? With the investments in their defensive line when they face outside zone runs from the Seattle Seahawks and Clint Kubiak's offense. So I got some more things to look at here as we look at this team, but let's bring in producer Connor, who you can also read at Joe Co Show on Substack. That's JOCO. Show.
Yes.
With a W?
Show with a W.
And he just wrote about Brock Purdy, which we'll get to, and has done a little dive on some matchup stuff with Seattle. But what do you think of that stat, huh? 32nd in the league against outside zone, 32nd in yards before touching somebody.
Makes me miss Ryan Grubb. Seattle's offensive coordinator last year. No, that is beaten the Niners at their own game, and that's horrible. That you have to stop the outside zone because this scheme has spread across the league everywhere.
Yeah.
Shanahan created a monster. I mean, I don't know. They obviously can't rep it in practice. I don't know exactly how that works, between the weeks. But Robert Saleh, I wonder how much, he saw it when he was defensive coordinator for the 49ers against the Rams twice a year. But the Shanahan system, was it that widespread? I'm not entirely sure.
Not like it. No, not like it is now.
So
he's got Mike McDaniel twice a year.
Yeah. I mean, that is 32nd in the league without touching a person is horrendous. Now they have 3 rookies at the test early on. Who knows? That concerns me. And Kenneth Walker is healthy for the first time, in a while now. What it seemed like.
What was your takeaway? It seemed like a lot of Seahawks fans got in the comments on the Brock Heward YouTube video. A lot of people mad. Guy, how could you? Don't you? How dare you? It's Seahawks week. Why are you talking to Brock Heward? But what was your my takeaway from Brock Heward? I think different people took different things away from it. My takeaway was Seattle's got a shot, but they are young, and there's a lot new here. And you're replacing DK, and your offensive line is young. So I came away from that conversation with Brock going, the same way I went into it. I respect Seattle, but the Niners' top end talent is so top end. I think it's the greater than sign is going to the Niners on top end talent.
I took away that they are trending in a rebuild direction, and they're very comfortable and happy with it. Their defense ascended towards the end of last season. If you look a little bit closer, they don't play the best quarterbacks, but they're building confidence. Mike Macdonald's system is very complex. What he ran with the Ravens, they're playing offense on defense, right? That sort of mindset. And so I think they carry that momentum. And then on offense, they seem to have an identity. And that's kind of what he was talking about. They have an identity. They're going to run the ball. It's going to help their athletic, tackles and Zabel at guard. So they seem to be building, and I think they're carrying that momentum. Are they the darling of the offseason, the NFC West, with Stafford's injury and the media down on the Niners? It feels that way a little bit. I'll buy low on the 49ers right now, but I think they're seeing some progression, and they like McDonald. That's what I took away from Seattle.
I called the USC football game week 1, and they're interesting. I always think because their defensive coordinator, Dan Lynn, is a guy that I thought the Niners should have considered hiring the year they hired Nick Sorensen, because it was after the Super Bowl and there were no NFL coaches available. And that offseason, Dan Lynn went from UCLA to USC, and he's historically an NFL guy. You're like, guy, why do you want a college? He's a Ravens guy.
Yeah,
he's a Rex Ryan Jets guy. And he took UCLA's defense to big improvements. USC's defense wasn't great last year, but it was way better than the year before. They made big strides. They'll probably make big strides again this year. That's my expectation. And so I had their game last week, and we were talking about one of his players. He's like, if you can pick up this system, you can pick up anything. They run the Ravens defense at USC. And so, I think the kind of my takeaway was in year 2, that thing should be better. And maybe that applies here to the Seahawks as well. In year 2, maybe it's a little bit better. I just think they're going to be. The Seahawks never scared me with Geno Smith at quarterback, because I just felt like he will make a mistake.
Yeah.
If you make him throw the ball enough, he'll make a mistake. And they threw the ball a ton. They were 5th in the league in pass percentage last year. So I think Geno's a good player. He is clearly a starting quarterback in the NFL. I respect the hell out of him in his career, but he just wasn't going to go take a division from you. I really like Sam. I don't think he's going to go take a division from you. But now they are running an offense that if you combine it with a really good defense and you run the football, Sam, what they win 14 games in Minnesota last year?
Yeah. No.
He wasn't great in the playoffs. He didn't win the Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. That's pretty freaking hard.
Yep.
So I respect him. But again, I just go back to, I think when I go back to what I started this video on, the overarching, I think the overarching is hey, Brock Purdy against these, like, can he be better than all these other quarterbacks? Can he be better than Sam Darnold? Can he be better next week than Spencer Rattler? Can he be better than Kyler Murray? Can he, 2 years ago, you remember I did GFF, Guy Football Focus.
Who could forget?
I guess this is 3 camps ago now. Who can forget? Where I graded all the practice throws between Purdy, Darnold, and Trey Lance. And one of my big takeaways from that experience was there's only 3 to 5 times a game, max 5, where the quarterback has to make a throw that makes you like, whoa. It's probably like 2 to 4 on average. It's 3, maybe at the most. It's 3 a game, and the rest of it is about making those 0 grade throws. That is just, did you put it where it's supposed to be, and not making good decisions. Making good decisions. I was talking to my buddy Rhett Lewis today because he's the sideline reporter on my football crew. Rhett's on NFL Network. People see him all the time. He's been on the show before. Really sharp football guy, was a college receiver. He goes to the Manning camp every year. He's tight with the Mannings. And he was telling a story about how he remembers young at the Manning camp, Peyton throwing a ball on a receiver's back shoulder and cussing himself out. It's like, that's not good enough. Because there's a difference between kind of his thing was like, well, there's a difference. How did he put it? Let me look at my note here. There's a difference between excellence and success. Like, a lot of people trying to succeed. Peyton was trying to be excellent.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting a little off track, but the point is, like, if you could if Purdy can out execute the other guy every weekend and then make 2 or 3 throws at the end of the year, that stacks up into that's how you become a top 12 quarterback. You don't have the 4 interception game against Baltimore, right? Like, that's a great matchup this week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is. And getting to that point, but that's a good way to break it down, because I think a lot of fans will think Josh Allen, every single throw is a perfect dime over a safety, like hitting someone in stride. He does that more than on average than the other quarterbacks. That's why he's the best, or one of the best. But like you said, it's not every single throw. There are so many throws in a game that just have to be, in the chest, but a little bit in front of the chest, but they have to be those 0 throws.
Let me tell you here real quick. So those plus graded, like the best throws you can make, I forget exactly. They 2 or 2.5. I forget my grading scale. It's PFF's grading scale, but they call those big time throws. A pass with excellent location timing, further down the field, tight window. All right. Last year, Joe Burrow led the league with 38 of them.
38. Josh
Allen was second with 37. What's 38 divided by 17? 2.2. 2.2. So I said it's on average 3 a game. No, 2 is on the high end.
Yeah.
By the way, Sam Darnold was tied for 3rd in the league with 33 big time throws. I do think your receivers, like having a Justin Jefferson or a DK or whatever, like that helps.
Yeah.
But
that's not talked about enough. Burrow with an amazing, immaculate season last year. 3 times a game he did what a superstar does, which is great, and made him who he is. Almost.
By the way, the year before, you know how many throws led the league in big time throws? 38. Dak, as it turns out.
Wow.
So it's not, but you know who was second? Josh Allen. How many? Exactly 37 again, same as last year. 2022, big time throws. Josh Allen, 44. Like, I would love to go back. I think 42, Tom Brady, the year before, 2021. Like, this is what it is. The best guys twice a game make a throw that you're like, whoa.
Yep.
That's it. And so make 1.5 a game.
And
I think you said it perfectly. Like, people think it's like 10 throws a game. But it's not.
Yeah. I mean, the common fan will think it's every throw with the
common fan. Not us. We have PFF.
Brock Purdy.
Honestly, it's what I thought before I started grading it. I would have thought it was 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
Like something like boof.
Yep. Brock Purdy against Mike McDonald, I believe the first time he faced him, threw 4 picks, and it probably didn't have one of those throws. But the news is, and this is
lost the MVP, probably
lost the MVP. it was Kyle Hamilton was in the backfield all the time. And it was that honestly got McDonald the coaching job in Seattle. I think they saw that and were like, we need that. The next time Purdy played them played McDonald was October 10th last season. That was the Kittle game with 2 touchdowns, a great corner throw to Kittle. His passer rating was 129. Mike McDonald made adjustments. That was a big talking point. I remember talking about that after that first Seattle game. Purdy then was like a check down, just kept checking it down. 159 yards, was never comfortable in that game at home when what Seattle stole. So if Shanahan he needs to adjust back because, McDonald seems to be catching on to this scheme, and he was hired as the Shanahan, killer or the, slow down the 49ers offense. Now McCaffrey was out, Kittle was out and Ayuk was out. So the Niners were without their full team. But it's a fun chess match to watch as we enter round 4.
Yeah. Not on a Thursday night, which is rare. But they were used to playing at night. But I don't think it's going to be. Weather's going to be fine. Saw Kyle Shanahan talk today. Juwan Jennings he expects him to play. I think Brian Robinson's interesting. Where does he fit in? Special teams is very interesting, right? Can they win the special teams battle?
Can they make field goals? Are they going to go?
Can they make field goals? Can they cover? Can they? Yeah. Can they get a return? Sky Moore, can he get a good return?
Do you see any change in aggressiveness from Kyle Shanahan with Jake Moody's recent struggles?
I don't think so. I think he's going to roll. I think he's got to roll with him the way he wants to. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I don't think you can start week 1 not using the kicker the way you want to use the kicker.
Yeah. Well, on that point, they relied on him more. Again, we talked about this ad nauseum. Couldn't score in the red zone. In 2023, also, it's about the kill shots. Remember last year the Niners couldn't put a game away.
Oh yeah. What was it? Was there a kill shot stat? Is that what you got?
They were 10 of 15 in fourth quarter touchdowns in the red zone.
Wait a second. The Niners had 15 fourth quarter red zone trips and scored 10 touchdowns in those 15 fourth quarter trips.
Yes, they're in the fourth quarter. They're 10 of 15, so 67% kill shot.
That was in 2023. 23. Okay. That's what we call that, a kill shot, fourth quarter red zone touchdown?
I think so.
Yeah, I like that.
With the lead, yeah.
Yeah.
So that, all the metrics, but even, fourth quarter, not relying on Moody, right? Not getting to that point.
Yeah. What were they last year? Did you have that?
I don't have that. I was hoping you wouldn't ask.
Felt low, though. Felt low.
It was low.
Yeah. There's a lot, I think they'll miss DeMarcus Robinson, but I think the Pearsall thing, which they've got Cooper Kupp now and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jake Bobo, is Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. Who's the best receiver combo on the field on Sunday? Is it those two? Is it JSN? Does Cooper Kupp have anything left? What is it? That's fascinating.
If he's healthy, I'd probably lean Seattle best receiving.
More proven. But if he's healthy, if he's ready to roll. So that's really interesting. And then I think the other thing, I've done a few shows where hey, who are you watching for? And I think I said this to Kawakami. I didn't say it here, so I'll say it here. But I think for all of the attention on Nick Martin, rightfully, D Winners having a really good year, stepping up and having a really good year is almost a bigger key than Nick Martin having a good year. Nick Martin's a rookie. He's behind D Winners. This is year 3 for D Winners. If D Winners can can step up this year and really be, you don't have to be Dre Greenlaw, but be a guy that they're not trying to replace. I would put it that way, right? Be solidly the other running back. And then Nick Martin can fit in where he fits in and run around on special teams and learn. And maybe, I think Tatum Bethune, that's another guy we don't talk about a ton, but I think we get so enamored with last year's rookie class and then this year's rookie class. And what about D Winners making some plays, and no, that's the wrong way to put it. Not making plays. D Winners being consistent. Yep. What about D Winners being consistent?
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. So Those are some of the things at the top of my list on big picture for the season and Sunday against the Seahawks.
What are your thoughts on them, the Seahawks and 49ers playing week 1 and week 18?
Love it.
You do?
I mean, there's 10 different ways you could do it. Like, if you've got a young team, I know this was Josh Dubow's thing. He didn't love, like, not love, but just his perspective on the schedule was, hey, it's tough if you've got a young team and a beat up team and injured, like, to play this many divisional games this early and all these road games this early. But I think it's cool because to me, it makes it, I like it when it's 3 weeks apart or 2 weeks apart. This is another version of it, an opposite version where you're totally different teams. But I think for the Niners right now, given how many young guys they're relying on, how beat up they are, yeah, give me Ayuk for the second game when it really matters at the end of the year. You know?
Yeah, I mean, second game, those rookies will have had 17 weeks to learn under Saleh. It'll be, like you said, 2 completely different teams. I don't know if I love it. I don't think.
Why not? What's your thought?
Well, given the state of the 49ers, they're coming at a disadvantage with, like you mentioned, the defense was horrible last season, and now they're going to get a seemingly happy running team that might run all over them. Yeah. And their heavy focused D-line is all rookies. So
yeah.
But then you could say the flip side of that is new system on offense in Seattle.
I mean, it's like this is the National Football League. All right. It's the National Football League. Everyone can play. All right. That's like a Saban, Peyton Manning. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But, you know, I don't know who you're supposed to who you're supposed to play. Oh, you want to go to Tampa week 1 when it's hot and muggy? Not really. And then the other thing is, what is the other thing? Oh, the other thing is, what's the weather in Seattle? It's not raining. It's not cold.
That's a great point. That's
70 degrees and cloudy. Like, all right, that is better than November, December.
That's a great point about the rain, the ball.
Not that I have any questions about the rain.
No concern with
no
Purdy.
Concerns about the rain. Nobody's concerned about who said rain.
Yeah.
Now Cleveland on November 30th, different animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but the Niners don't play a December road game outside.
That's fantastic.
How about that stat? They play at Indy, and that's a dome. Now they play. Actually, I mean, we've talked about this. They play. Well, I guess they play outside New York on November 2nd. And then the Cleveland game. That's the one.
Yeah,
that and the Giants game. Those are the potential weather games. But there was like, if there's going to be weather, it'll be like that. It'll be here. Niners Rams last year.
Yeah. Yeah. The monsoon game.
My wife Alyssa was at that game, and she was just like, her and her friend were at the game, and she's like, we're drenched, our blankets drenched, we're cold. And I just kept trying to hype her up. Like, there will never be another game like that. You are at this game. It's 6-3. What a game. How lucky are you? I was trying to give her like the Harbaugh,
Yeah.
And still to this day, she has not quite sunk in how lucky she was to be at that game,
Yeah.
Who's got it better than us?
Watching Devondre Campbell didn't want to be there.
Devondre Campbell.
He couldn't take it.
I was texting Devondre like, bro, how lucky are you? He's like, get out of here. So, all right. Anything? Oh, because you wrote the article. Give me we didn't end up making a whole video about this, but
I'll give you Brock predictions for the year.
Yeah. Give me your, hold on. Go ahead. Here we go.
Well, Purdy's been paid.
He's been paid.
So he's got to play like it. And his tone this offseason was, I was forcing it. I learned it was a good lesson, just bro, relax. Like he was saying in media interviews. And I think Purdy's coachable. And I think that's a big part of why they paid him. And so I do see a bounce back. And the main 3 things in the thesis is better yards after catch, healthy weapons, and then red zone efficiency. And everything builds off one another, right? Healthy weapons lead to better yak. Better yak leads to, an improved red zone efficiency. And, having everything in unison will, Brock Purdy, I predict 29 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns, and he's 4,150 passing yards. So gets over the 4,000 yard mark. McCaffrey's back, Kittle's back, and I think early on it'll be leaning on Ricky Pearsall, building off that connection. And Jawan Jennings looks like he's playing. So you're number, 3 in the system or 4?
Yeah, 4.
So you're number 4, and this is the time to play like you've been paid. It's basically the Jared Goff contract. That's what we talk about, where he kind of falls in that ranking system, Mike Sando's tiers.
Mm-hmm.
So Brock Purdy, 29 touchdowns, under 10 interceptions, that will, and leaving room for a lot of, Christian McCaffrey touchdowns and rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I like it, and I would say great graphic by you on your Substack Joko show. And I would say you throw for 4,100 yards and 29 touchdowns. That interception number can be, instead of 8, can be 11, or, and it's fine. You don't want it to be, but that's an elite 29 touchdowns, 8 picks it's fantastic.
It is. And that was a little bit of a homer play. Hoping, he's, I don't know, not forcing it like he said he was not going to. But he also mentioned he only sees 40% of the receivers, and he trusts.
That's true.
The system.
That's true.
So,
I'll tell you,
going all over the place.
I love the yak point because, last year they had a huge drop off in yak. They were number 1 in the league 2 years ago, 6.6 yards of yak. That was number 1. It dropped by more than a yard last year, from 6.6 to 5.5. And I thought somebody asked Shanahan about Pearsall the other day, and he had a good piece of insight. He said one of the first key to yak is catching the ball clean, and Ricky catches the ball really clean. That ball's got to stick and then get tucked. That was the other part of it. He said you got to stick it and then tuck it real quick. And I've watched a lot of Ricky. He does that. He does a lot of things, I think, efficiently in terms of movement. If you watch him when there's 7 other receivers doing things, he gets his hips turned around quicker. He gets his head turned around just a little bit quicker. And he does get that ball stuck and put away very quickly. He is practicing very hard. Great. DeMarcus Robinson practices very hard. And, I think you see it in really intentional, deliberate, forceful movements. Everything those two guys do in practice is with force. The ball gets stuck and put away, and you can just tell it has been drilled. It is. Yeah. There's nothing lackadaisical about it, and I think that translates to a tight offense. So
definitely, yards after catch has been directly correlated with the 49ers making Super Bowls and NFC title games, and also the rest of the league. And so it's like Mahomes, when they're winning, they have a top 5 yak. So every one of the Super Bowl teams from 2020 since 2021 has been in or near the top 5 in yards after catch. I think it's 7 is the dispersion. And so it is those little points that Ricky Pearsall's that you're noticing at practice that can maybe get the 49ers back to 2023.
I can't believe I feel like this every year. We've talked so much. We've talked so much, and then next week we talk so much, which is fine. It's what we're doing, but it's weird. It's there's gonna actually be a game. All this talking's over. So, except I'm gonna be talking the whole game. So sorry about that. All right. What's your confidence level Niners win the NFC West? Since I'm not going to ask you, are they winning it? Because I think you're picking them too, but
I would say 65%.
That's pretty high, I think.
I know.
No, I think it's that's all. That's good. That's good pick.
Stafford's back. Cardinals.
Cardinals aren't going to win it, I don't think, but they could screw it up for somebody.
Here's what it feels like. Final thing. It feels like the NFC West might beat itself up this year, but then the 49ers play the AFC South and the NFC South worst teams, and they could propel there. So that's kind of if everyone beats each other up and then the 49ers can just sweep those other games, perfect.
What is it? Every year, 3 new teams make the playoffs that didn't the year before. It's 25 years running in the NFL or something. That thing goes on forever. I remember when I did radio forever ago, that was always the stat. The guy would do it every year. The guy, you're hey, every year. And then that's every year we did that same show. It's who's the 3? And Paul Swearingen was the host. He would do it every year in Fresno, California. We would do that thing every year. You could predict it, and it hasn't changed since. So The good news about that stat is the Niners did not make the playoffs last year. So there you go.
No playoffs or NFC title game.
Qualify. All right. Good work, Connor. Later, everybody.